We filmed this Saturday show and did a pretty good job, if you ask me, of discussing Paradox Interactive's shitty decision to hike the prices on a lot of its games. So most of this video explains what happened with that and discusses why it was wrong. But we had to reshoot this intro and an update later on. Why? Well, because a few hours after we filmed the video, Paradox Interactive had to go and do the right thing, didn't they? They pulled a complete U-turn, they rolled back the prices, and communicated very well with their community. Yeah, well, nice one, we guess. Paradox Interactive are probably best known for their many well-thought-of grand strategy games like Crusader Kings, Stellaris, and Cities Skylines. But this week, they've landed themselves in some hot water after they raised the prices of their games in some select regions. Paradox said the price increase was intentional and was to match the purchasing power of select regions to create a more equal price point around the world. So in other words, they're changing the prices of their games because of fluctuations in the value of currencies in certain countries, in their view, to make things fairer across the board. Paradox forum user Whiteshade pointed out the price hike affects countries like the UK, Canada, Japan and Brazil, but strangely not the United States. Whiteshade compiled a list of Paradox games and DLC packs and found that prices had been increased between 15 and 50% depending on the product. For example, World War II grand strategy game Hearts of Iron 4 used to cost 699 rubles in Russia, but the new price is 899 rubles, a 22% increase over the old price.
Can they not see how ironic it is that a company who is renowned for its grand strategy games having such an awful strategy towards the pricing?
I felt so like, yes, very good, yes.
However, Paradox CEO Frederick Wester tweeted out that although the move had been planned for some time, their timing and communication was rather poor. Wester made a forum post saying that the company stands by their decision, but apologised for any frustration caused to the community. Wester said, "Sometimes we will agree with each other, sometimes we will not. But what is very important to us is that you don't doubt our sincerity and our intentions." Despite these comments from Paradox Interactive, users did not respond well to the news and they took to Steam to write scathing reviews on several Paradox games.
Don't doubt our sincerity and our intentions, guys. Just don't do that, okay? Don't do that to us.
Says the CEO of a major corporation.
Yeah.
But what is particularly distressing is that they're doing this more and more often now, where they're kind of exploiting their followers and their user base and their ardent fans by raising the prices on DLCs and things like that, which only people who are fans in the first place will buy the DLC.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
It's really sad that they're doing this, because it's one way to ruin a reputation that they've gained from years and years of releasing awesome games and doing the right thing. We've seen the backlash recently with GTA 5, where Steam users are giving negative reviews and taking the reputation of the company right down. The same thing's happening here, and it's sad to see.
The community is backlashing really hard on this. Like, they're review bombing Crusader Kings 2 in particular, because that's kind of their flagship game, I guess. And they're hitting that hard with negative reviews and stuff. There's kind of this crowd, community power thing on Steam now, where you can actually really negatively affect the first impression of a game, because it says right there, overwhelmingly positive. Positive, negative. There's an adjective right next to the title of the game on that store page. So it's kind of cool when you think about it. The Valve have empowered the community in that way, but it's being used here very much so. They're slating this game because of this exact thing. They've upset the community.
And you've got to compare them to the closest competitors for strategy games. You think the likes of Civilization 6. Just the sheer amount of DLC that Paradox create. I mean, in itself, it just smells a bit bad. It just seems like they're milking them in the first place. But now this extra step of raising the prices for them fans already, I don't know. What I would always say is vote with your wallets. If you don't like this kind of practice, just don't buy any more Paradox games. And I think it speaks volumes for this day and age in gaming, where in the olden days they might have gotten away with this. Like, people would not have grouped together and there would be not so much of a backlash. They can't get away with that kind of shit these days. They can ruin their credibility as a games developer really easily, really quickly these days, because the information spreads like wildfire on the internet. These companies have got to be careful, and so long as we stand up to them and tell them we don't like what they're doing, then they can't get away with this bullshit.
This is good. We need
more teas.
Mid-filming brews. That's good. Oh yeah, taste that. Caffeine, man.
Taste that caffeine.
Taste that.
I haven't had a coffee in 2 hours.
Caffeine.
2 hours.
Start sharing drinks on video, you freaks.
So this is the part of the video that we've had to reshoot because it didn't quite make any sense anymore based on the response that we've had overnight. As you can tell, it's a different day. We're wearing different t-shirts. So what we said in the previous segment was vote with your wallets, get together as a community and exercise your player power and things will change. That seems is exactly what has happened.
Annoyingly.
For us.
Paradox CEO Frederick Weston posted this lengthy statement to the Paradox forums on Thursday evening, saying the following. This will sound a bit schizophrenic, but I have really appreciated the reactions from this forum. I have spent the last 24 hours reading your comments and feedback and replying to email. In regards to the price changes, you are absolutely right. You deserve more transparency and better communication from Paradox when it comes to changing of our prices and pricing policy. Therefore, I have decided to roll back all price changes made. Any price changes will have to be for future products, well communicated in advance.
Weston said that taking the prices back now will take all Paradox products off the current Steam summer sale, so the rollback won't happen until the sale ends. He also took full personal responsibility for complaints, pointing out that he has a third of the shares in the company, he is CEO, and said the buck stops with him, which is very cool. Overall, you've got to say that this is exactly the right way to deal with a situation like this. We've seen it numerous times in the past where developers just like close their ears and like just, but I'm not listening, not listening. This guy, he's the CEO of this company.
Yeah, exactly. He is the CEO and he's diving into the forums and he's communicating with these people. He put his email address on there, and you know, so the players could email him and explain to him what their issue was with it and all that kind of stuff. This is exactly what we'd want to happen when we were filming a video yesterday.
Yeah.
This is what we want to happen. Ideally, probably like after the weekend.
Yeah, so we could have taken some credit for it.
So we could just sit down and have a coffee on a Friday morning. Player power is something we're always advocating on this channel. That's exactly what was panned out here. It's got to be in direct response to all those negative reviews, all those comments, all those forum threads.
Forum posts on the forum is a big thing because he said he read through all the forum posts.
He's gonna that's gonna be his like preferred kind of avenue of discussion because that is where his biggest fans are gonna go. But the fact that he's listening to that is fantastic. What he said about that bit about him being a CEO, the buck stops with him, is great. And the fact that he's saying, oh, it's not just like shareholders and, there's a conspiracy theory about Paradox has changed since they've been, selling shares and all that kind of stuff. He's saying, no, he's still the controlling guy. This is my fault. Yeah. So, and that, that is very cool. Well done.
Yeah, I like the tone of the message as well. It's very personal and he's treating people like actual people now. It's like he puts his email address out there and he talks about his past, how he started the company from when there were 7 people, there's now over 200 people, and he goes into all of that and you can feel him, there's some humanities coming out in him.
Absolutely.
And that's the connection that he makes with the people, which is commendable in my eyes. It definitely is.
Own your mistakes, isn't it? And he was talking as well about things like DLC. He acknowledged that people don't like the DLC practices of the company, and rather than just say, oh yeah, that's something that we're looking at, he actually presented a counter argument, and it was like, this is our point of view, this is why we do it, we also give you lots of free updates. The fact that he's presented his argument and said that, we'll have to agree to disagree, which are his exact words, that's good, that's excellent communication there. Well done, man.
We should note that it was absolutely horrible that this thing happened in the first place. They should never have done it, and they haven't even sorted it out yet. This is just communication that he's made today. Hopefully it will all get sorted out after the Steam summer sale when they can implement the changes and refund the people who are as affected. But one thing that we got to take away from this is that it really does make a difference when the communities get together and they voice their disapproval for things that isn't right, basically. And you should take that as empowerment and you should go forward with that in future. If anything happens that you're not happy about, people feel the same way as you, let your voices known. Get on the forums, downvote on Steam if you have to. Obviously something's got its attention and made this work out for the best. So one thing you got to take away from this video, and the whole point of us like redoing this last bit, is just to reiterate the point that you need to exercise your rights as a consumer. Get together and let your voices be heard.
And in a very jarring transition, we are now going to change into yesterday's clothes again.
And finish the video. And in the spirit of keeping your community happy, let's check out what you've been saying in the comments this week.
Commenting on last week's Sunday Roundup, Chronos says, in case you're wondering, yes, the collector's edition of Assassin's Creed Origins is now officially sold out. And yes, Ubisoft just made 800 grand.
Which for me speaks yeah, Mike's obviously disgusted. But when people like naysayers say that the industry is about to crash. When like 1,000 people have got so much spare money to waste on that kind of tat, it goes to show that it doesn't look like that kind of thing will happen when there's so much money to spare.
In certain ways, the games industry is healthy as f.
Yes. On our Hidden Gems of E3 video, Napoleon Bonaparte says, roses are red, violets are blue, I came for Banlord. When the f is that coming out?
Touching poem.
When the f is it coming out? It's like it's ready when it's ready sort of thing, isn't it? They haven't really said when it is coming out. If I had a game and I was not putting it out and someone sent me that poem, I would release it. Also commenting on the Hidden Gems video, Musab Ahmed says, dude, why not talk about the 7 new Skyrim versions? Unsubbed, reported and suing for emotional trauma.
There's gotta be more to it than this, boys.
Are we running out of like impetus for these comments? There's more comments this week than ever before.
This is where it begins. There'll be a YouTube video in about 2 years' time, like the downfall of Pretty Good Gaming. This will be like the beginning. This will be
beginning of the end. This is what this is.
Divisions were starting to show. So, you a Paradox fan? What do you think about this price hike? No one likes price hikes, do they? But what do you think about their story? Do you think they're telling the truth? Let us know down in the comments. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. There's another one right there if you want to watch it right now. You can click right there on Patreon if you want to support the channel. We'll see you next time.